Hi, I'm the Malt Activist, and today I have with me Isla's probably greatest export, this Laphroaig 10-year-old. Okay, so full disclosure, Laphroaig is the first distillery that I ever visited, Islay, non-Islay. And it was literally such a magical experience for me because that was my first time being at a distillery and I was so excited. And it was for one of the Islay festivals, I remember. And it was literally, I got off from the plane at the very, very small airport that is Islay Airport, and we drove straight to Laphroaig to take part in some of the tastings that were happening that day. It was Laphroaig's open day, and we got to, try and taste a host of whiskeys that day. And so I was enamored and I fell in love. And it is quite probably one of my favorite distilleries ever, purely because they produce more good than they do below average, and that's quite a testament. And I really think one of the pinnacles or feathers in their cap is this 10-year-old that I have in my hand right now. This whiskey is also probably one of the reasons why single malts are back on the map, largely because it's so consistently above average and it's produced in large quantities. And I mentioned earlier in my Jameson review that I was doing, I was like, hats off to distilleries that on such a huge scale manage to put whiskeys in the hands of people and are able to create an overall demand. So, which brings us to this lovely 10-year-old. I have a 1 liter bottle of it, so that's massive. And it says it's colored, which is the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of. But it's policy. It's a Beam Suntory policy, so there's nothing we can do about it. And it says so in German at the back. It says it has caramel in it. I hope you can read it. Just at the bottom. Hope you can read that. So yeah, so this is a 10-year-old whiskey bottled at 40%, matured exclusively in very, very active first fill bourbon barrels. And let's just pour it out and see what the fuss is about. Yeah, this is one of those signature aromas that just transports you back to the island immediately. There's probably my happiest spot on the planet is sitting outside the visitor center at Laphroaig, right outside Warehouse 1. And it's a little pier that runs into the water, and my favorite pastime is to grab a couple of drams from the very generous people over at the visitors center, sit down with a couple of friends, maybe light up a cigar if we have a good one, and just enjoy that moment. And just smelling this takes me back there every single time. And this is such a distinct whiskey that there's rarely can you ever mistake it for anything else. And also, let me tell you something, that if you're new to whiskey drinking and you're looking at moving to Islay whiskeys to expand your horizon, then this is not the one to start with. This is like jumping into the deep end. This is one of those whiskeys which you either love the first time you drink or you absolutely hate the first time you drink. And I think it's that divide that really is what makes this whiskey so popular, because people who love it really love it, and I really love it. And actually, I don't know anyone who hates it. I mean, I know a few people who can't who don't like peated or smoky whiskeys in general, but generally people sing very high praises of this Laphroaig 10-year-old. This is Laphroaig's, signature expression and probably their biggest bread earner. And honestly, I think the reason for that is how it's managed to stay consistently above average for so many years over such a huge volume of production. And that's, that's just a testament to the to Mr. John Campbell, who's the master distiller over at Laphroaig, and just does a fantastic job along with everybody else at that distillery. Yes, very, very prominent seaweed, licorice, iodine. It's that medicinal lozenge, red lozenge, peat, smoke, crispy bacon, barbecue, bonfires, smoked fish on grill. But at the same time, it's also buttery. It has caramel flavors in it, milk chocolate. So many flavors just packed into this one little dram, and that's what makes it. And this is what Laphroaig claim, right? That they are the most flavorful Scottish whiskey in the world. And I'd be hard pressed to disagree with that, because it is, just this little dram has so much going on. Super complex, lots of flavors just jumping out of the glass. This is just one of the best whiskeys you can ever get your hands on. But you have to love it. Wow. Yeah. Even though it's bottled at a measly 40%, it still packs a lot of flavor. It's a lot more fruity on the palate, so there's a lot more pineapples and red apples than you find on the nose. But it still retains its signature profile, which is the peat and the smoke and the crispy bacon that you get on the nose. Overall, super balanced dram. Finish is maybe slightly shorter than what I would have liked it to be, but it's still smoky. It still resonates on your palate even after you're done. And man, like I said, wow. Yeah, like I said, this has just so many things going on at the same time in just near perfect harmony that you can't put a step wrong with this whiskey. So if you've tried it, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, for some reason, not tried a Laphroaig 10, then I strongly urge you to go out there and pick this bottle up and give it a try, because if you do end up liking this particular flavor profile, then you've really opened up a whole new world of whiskeys for yourself to try and taste and get to know. And I'm glad I managed to start with this expression long time ago. That was one of my first forays into Islay whiskeys, and it got me hooked. I loved it from the very first time I tried it. And I'm telling you, if the same thing happens to you, then you're gonna be a fan for life. So once again, I'd like to raise a glass to the good folks over at Laphroaig who produce such above average whiskeys over such a huge volume of production, and who ensure that good whiskey gets into the hands of people who can then by consuming it are able to create a demand for more whiskey, and then that way we get to drink a lot more. So thank you Laphroaig, especially Mr. John Campbell for your amazing work, and thanks to you for tuning in and watching this whiskey review. I'm the Malt Activist. Until next time, peace.